Hi, it's Kathy from Raven Vintage. Let's make one of these little folios that I demonstrated in a reel the other day. And today we're going to use my new kit called Stained Glass Secrets. So this I thought was a perfect little kit for a printable kit for a project like this. And it's not shown on my Etsy listing, but there is a bonus page included. And I'll show you which one that is, which is a great neutral to use with this beautifully colored. When you think of stained glass, my intent or my hope is that this kit reminds you of beautiful cathedrals and stained glass. So I have a few stamps ready to go. I don't know if I'll need my washi tape, but I have it handy. I might use, oh yes, I will definitely use this, is a 2-inch circle punch, corner rounder. I have my inks, of course. Today we'll probably just use vintage photo, some scissors. I have my tool caddy here ready to go. So let's take a look at the project itself, and then we'll look at the papers. So it starts on the front with a little tuck, and behind there I have a pocket. There'd be room to do another pocket, and I just added a journaling card. This little medallion slips underneath like that, and then we open it up and there's a pocket right away with journaling cards. And then on this side we have a flip down and a belly band with a journaling card. You can decorate or add the embellishments to yours however you like, but I just wanted you to see all the options. There's a pocket there as well. And we open this up. I have this flip down. Oops, I had it folded wrong, just a sec, like that. That's what it should look like when you open it up. So in the middle, I put a belly band with some journaling cards. Everything you see here is from the same kit. And behind, this is the neutral. That's the bonus page I was telling you about. I added a medallion to this belly band here. This darling is can flip this way, and then there's a journaling space here. You could make that into a multi-page booklet, and then that flips down. This flips up. This flips down. I have another belly band hidden back here. So much on one page. I love these one sheet wonder type of base projects that you can just go crazy with your creativity. There's another little pocket here, and then get this folded back right. We looked at that, and then on the back I have added another pocket, which isn't entirely necessary, but there's more journaling cards there. I just really wanted to showcase the different ephemera that comes with this kit. Yeah, so I started with my base. So, well, let's take a look at this kit very quickly. So you could use whatever prints you wanted from this kit. If this is what you're going to use, by all means use what you have. So what I have done is this page here I've used for the base cover, and that bonus page I told you about, which isn't on the Etsy listing, but when you purchase the file, it's there. It's a separate JPEG from the other PDFs. Some beautiful colors. This would make a really nice cover as well. This too, this background page with beautiful roses, that would make a nice background. She's so pretty. Now this is my test print, so apart from my test prints, so the images might appear a little different in the kit, like she's a little bit smaller and has a little more grunge to her, so that wasn't the final. And this one I changed her out and put in that little gal there. These are different. I added some more aging effects to the ephemera. You can see my pencil marks. So yeah, those are my test prints. Let's get rid of that. And what I chose today for this project, I used 80-pound white cardstock. So I've printed some ephemera. There's 4 pages. Here's where the little words are. Lambkin, my darling, go thy way. Some old years for the medieval ages. And then this is that bonus page. So I've chosen the bonus page as my neutral for the inside, and I've chosen this pattern background page for the cover. So let's set that aside. And the base, I did not measure, but I will give you the measurements that it lands on. And to start, simply, we want a tri-fold, and then we want some sort of a flip up to help us with our pockets and our flips. So I'm using 8.5 by 11 cardstock is what 80-pound cardstock is what I printed on. So it doesn't matter what size your paper is, because this we just do by hand. The only thing, or do by eye, I would recommend is if you want something like, say, in the center to be this width, just make sure your folds are wide enough to accommodate that. These little window ephemera pieces are more narrow, and then there's 3 large ones. Now, mind you, what I did in this one was I trimmed the edges a little bit. So you can, I don't know if you can tell, but this is just a little bit small, more narrow. I just trimmed it up a bit. Okay, so again, here we go. So I just started with a fold. I didn't measure, but I will let you know. I was just kind of going for thirds. And let me grab my little tool. Giving myself a nice crease. I'm not going to go through and, well, we'll see if I ink or not. I just, it just takes time in a video, right? So maybe I'll speed those parts up. And then this side, I just wanted it to be not overlap that first crease that we made and not necessarily go all the way. So this one's going to be even different from the first one I did because I'm not measuring, but I will give you my measurements. So let's see. So that first fold I did, 3.5 inches. My center looks like 3.75. And then the other fold is about 3.75 again. That's just how it turned out. And then the bottom, again, I didn't measure. I just kind of eyeballed this. And the only thing I watched for is that when I was starting to push this down, that my sides lined up so that we have, from the center, just so that we have the right alignment. And of course, if it hangs over, we can always trim it. Okay, that's the base there. So let's compare it to the one that I made previously. I'll just burnish those down a little bit so it folds nicely. There we go. So let's compare. So this one is a little bit, just a little bit shorter, which means my pocket on the bottom is a little bit larger. It's a little bit, not really, actually, it's almost about the same size. Isn't that funny? So I didn't, like I said, I didn't measure, but let's see. Yeah, so my bottom pocket is just, I don't know if you can see that, it's just a little bit taller. Something to compare it to here. Yeah. Yeah, this one's just a little, my pocket's a little bit taller, which means that's why this is a little bit shorter. Okay, so far so good. Now what I did, and you can of course do this different ways, this is just what I was winging it as. I cut, just using that crease line that exists, I'm cutting just to this crease line. And then I wanted to, now you can, like I said, do a different direction. That pocket's tucked in there, just a sec. There we go. So I cut this way and then this way so that that flips over. If you want it the other way, you could cut here and go this way and have the opposite. Up to you. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come from that first cut I made from here to here. I'm going to stop. And I did find, oops. There we go. I did find that once I tried to fold these in, this overlaps, so I just trim that off. And I see I made a little oops on my cut, so I'll fix that as well. So I'm going to flip that over so I can see what I'm doing. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? I'm just going to cut that excess off. Looks like I grabbed a little bit of this pocket part as well, but I trimmed off that end, so it's the same. Now, like I said, that looks a little, yeah, this can be really confusing when I'm flipping it all around, so I do apologize. But when it's in your hands and you're doing it, it'll make sense to you. So see how I made a oops when I was cutting? So I'm just going to trim that a little neater. A little more neat. And again, just stop there. That's better. That's a nicer edge. There, so there, that's your one sheet wonder base. How easy was that? So this gives me a flip this way, or I can flip it backwards. And then this can go like this and flip this way, or you can flip it in and then like that. I just found, let's just compare, that it landed nicely when I did it this way. So you can see, I hope you can see. So I'm doing the same thing. So this just has something attached to it. So let's see. Same idea. And then on the front, I had that flipped backwards. So that medallion I used to tuck in underneath there. So that's what I'll do with this one too. So we'll close that, we'll go like this. and that would be this piece here. Okay, now you can corner round, which I might do something a little different this time with corner rounding, but for now let's just get our creases nice and sharp. And then see, it's already sitting flatter just by working on those creases a little bit. We're just going to crease a little bit more, and then if you are going this way, you're going to want to crease that. So whichever way you're going, just get your creases down. I have a lot of wrinkling on either side of that, but it's creased, so it is what it is. It's just a thicker paper. So okay, so let's start with the cover. Now in this kit, what I did was I made these two medallions so they fit exactly a 2-inch punch. So let's cut this off so we can get to those. So both of those medallions should fit your 2-inch punch just perfectly. If not, if you don't have a 2-inch punch, you can fussy cut. Get that lined up nice. There's one. Get lined up just right. And there's two. Okay. Now I am going to ink this just simply because I can't ink it later. You could go around, and this would be a good time actually to ink your entire base before I actually start adding anything. So I'm just going to fast forward this a little bit, and I'm going to ink my edges. Stand by. Okay, I think I have it all. I may have missed something. Oh, yep, right there. But that's a lot of creases to ink, so that will take you a couple minutes. Okay, so there we go. So we're back to working on the, oh look, and I missed that one too. Might as well do it now. Okay, there. So back to working on the front cover. So basically, I just attached this medallion here, and then whichever window you decide to use, stained glass window with your lady, my lady, you just want this to be able to slip underneath. So we're only going, when we glue this on, we're going to only glue from here to about here, just so that you've got this flap opening. So this you can start with. You can glue this down. And what glue am I going to use? I'm going to use, this is my art glitter glue in a precision bottle. My favorite glue to use. There, so I'm only going to glue half of the medallion, and then so I can see what I'm doing, I have it lined up this way. You can do it however you like, but I think that it's nice when it's lined up like that. And so I'm just going to flip it over, and so I can see what I'm doing. That light tap so we can still move it if we need to. There we go. Ready, set. That's done. Okay, so let's pick a different lady this time. We're going to use one of these smaller images. I think I will use this gal this time. Okay, so let's cut around her. Of course, you all know this. Just turn your cardstock, not your scissors. And then just a little edge to trim off. There we go. Her little ink. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what inspired me to make this kit, but I was talking about it the other day and now I've forgotten. Very nice. I like that. Okay, so I am just going to glue. I don't want to glue past here, so let's just flip it over so we know what we're doing. We don't want to glue past the like where the medallion's going to tuck in. So I'm just going to go above that about this far and There we go. So you can just put that right over top so you know how far. You want a little bit of room between the flap and the bottom of this, so there's room to like scoop it underneath, but you also don't want to go over the top there. These are the perfect size for this. Okay, so that's how I did my front flap. So that just bends a little and tucks right underneath. I see when I'm bending it, I have a little bit of a lift, so let's use our wonderful precision bottle and just get under there. Good, good. Okay, we can do some of the decorating after, but that's the front. And then what are we going to do next? Let's do a pocket here. So what did I use? Last time I did this guy. It's nice and wide. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to use something different. I'm going to use this. Oh, wait, do I have? Let me just rethink that for a second. No, I want something wider so that I can fit one of the lady pictures in there. So let's just use this. Now these have rounded corners, so I'm just going to cut them square now, and then I'll come back in with my corner rounder. So I'm not really teaching you anything here because we all know how to add a pocket. So pockets, belly bands, you can add whatever you like to this, but you have the basic idea of the I think I might need a new corner rounder. This one just seems to be really tough to use lately. It's like I need the pressure of 2 thumbs to do it. I might, if you have any recommendations on corner rounders, let me know in the comments. I'm going to put the garbage can on my right side. There we go. So I can try to clean as I go here. Okay. One thing I wasn't thinking of really was how high I can go today. Okay. So again, I know I said I wouldn't ink everything, but we have to. Okay, so one tip I can show you about pockets is just hold where you don't want the glue before you flip it over. So I know I want to ink the sides and bottoms, so I'm going to hold the part that would be the opening, and like that way you know what side not to glue. Because we've all done it, right? We've all glued in something or put glue on the wrong side. So just basically hold the opening, whether it's a side pocket or whatever. So that's easy peasy. We'll figure out who to put in there later. Okay, here I did a flip down and then a belly band. So, and a pocket. So a flip down, let's use one of these. Let's do a different one this time. We'll use this one. Now what I did to do the flip down, when I was cutting this, I just left this bottom so that I could use that to fold and crease. So I'm not going to cut the bottom off. I'm going to use that as my fold. View. I love these colors so much. They're not, I guess my house is pretty neutral. Like my decor is pretty neutral. A lot of like driftwood color and natural pops of green and white. It's a small house, so it's a small space, so that's why I chose to keep it bright. When I downsized and moved here, I came from a house that had a lot of wood. It was more of a northern feel, like we were north traveling people, like, so we think of rocks, water, and trees, and all those natural elements. So now this house is a little brighter, which has been very nice. So I folded that down. I'm just going to come in and trim both sides in a little bit on a little angle, just so it doesn't stick out when I glue it. There. Then I'll ink the bottom. And again, this is that 80-pound cardstock, so it's just perfect for this. And then I went up here, and I think this time, yeah, I thought that balance was nice. For the thickness of it, the whole thing, I made sure I did things at the bottom and the top to try to keep it balanced. So yeah, I'll do the same. I'll put her up here. So then all you need to do is glue the folded side. Figure out where you want that. Down just a bit. Perfect. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can put some, or if you're unsure of your glue, you could put a little bit of washi tape right there to hold it, but I'm pretty happy with this glue. I'm not concerned. Okay, and then I did a belly band behind. So where I got that strip from, I actually took one of these little frames, but I might use that this time. So let's use this frame. And that's, again, one of the beautiful things about printables is if you wanted to use this frame but also use it for edging or for trim, like I'm going to, a belly band, you could just print this page twice. Okay, so how wide is it? Just about the perfect width too. So I'm just going to cut along here. And that's going to be my belly band. Yes, yes. Okay. So just my edges, just a little bit to make sure I have enough room for a photo or one of the pictures to slide in there. Okay. Good. Now that's a little, look what I did. I did that a little, this is shorter. So whatever I put in, I'm going to have to trim up so that it fits. Let's just try this one right now and see. That's going to be just fine. Okay. So that's that. And then I did a pocket right here. So I used some of these strips here. Now I happen to have some left over from the last time, so I'm just going to use that. So a quick little pocket. Start bringing in some of this beautiful deep red color, which is picked up in here. So again, I'm going to hold the side that I'm not going to, that I want to be the opening. So as a pocket, I'm doing sides and bottom for glue. There. And then what did I do? I added these embellishments you can add after. Okay, so let's open this up and see what we did next. All right. So I made this layered by adding a frame and a person, a little girl, and then I actually cut out the inside of the frame and then covered it at the back with some, I did it two-sided paper. So this time I think I'm going to just leave the frame as is. We'll use this one without cutting out the center, and we'll just use the background that it has as the background. As is, that's what I'm trying to say. This is so pretty with that like deep navy, almost black and gold. Gilded frame, so pretty. And who shall we use this time for a person? It's going to go like that. Who are we going to use? So this is one of the smaller ones. You can tell. Let's use this. Who's easier to cut? She looks like she's easier to fussy cut, so let's use her. Okay, so I'm going to just fussy cut this gal here. Shouldn't take too long because it's a very simple shape. She's so pretty. Okay, and then let's size her up a little bit. Some of those are a little sharp. Let me try to smooth those out a little. Don't want a pointy head. There we go. Still a little sharp. A little sharp there too. Okay, so let's start with the original size and see if we need to trim that down. I almost was going to eliminate her because the original image was too pixelated, but I found a way to make that image, oh, let me just size this first. I found a way to make that image a little better. So if I move her over to the edge where her, kind of like that. Let's do that. We'll round off her little dress here. Yeah, she was pretty pixelated, so, but I did find, like I said, I found a way to fix that. So I did put her back in the kit. Almost didn't make it. Now here's something I like to do to add depth to an image. So I'm going to use the lines that are there, give that just a quick fold, and I'm just going to ink along that line. The other side. Oh. Like I didn't go right to the ends, but we'll smooth it back out after. If you're concerned about your paper not being super flat, then don't do this, but I just like adding some ink to make that pop a little bit more. So see how this one's kind of flat and this one pops a little bit more because of that inking. Is that something I like to do? Okay, and then we'll glue her right on there. Yes. She can be glued right down, the whole thing. Sorry about that noise. Sorry. No, that's not a very nice sound, is it? Okay. And this is going to put her right to the bottom, but I am going to bring her right to the edge. There, she's pretty. Now again, you, if you want to cover that before you flip it, just so it's not white, or it could be another writing space. So I'm just going to leave it white for now. And then I just came about halfway up on this pocket. So let's turn that over so we know where to glue. Oops, sorry, I've got shadows. It is December in Canada, but tomorrow is the winter solstice, and our days, or is it? Oh, it's today. It's winter solstice today. We're going to start seeing some more daylight. Our days are going to start getting longer. Beautiful. Just enough to get you feeling good until you hit February blahs. Okay. That, and then I added that lambkin word there, that little tag. Okay, and then belly band, super simple. Let's use a different color this time. I'm going to use this one. No, I'm not. I'm going to use a white, one of these really colorful ones. Let's go here. Change my mind. And we'll use the medallion on here that we already punched out with the circle punch. Or you could put one of these on. It'll work too. Or you could leave it be. You don't have to add anything to your belly band. Okay, so height-wise, I am, oh yay. Beautiful. I should have changed the medallion on the front this time, but that's okay. Now you want it, you don't want it, it's a longer range, so you don't want, and you want it to be tight enough. So what I recommend when you have a belly band, like see, this is pretty loose and there's 3 pieces in there and it's still loose. I would just bring your glue down a little further so that the space that's actually open is a little shorter, which makes the space underneath a little tighter. Does that make sense? So rather than just gluing on the edge like this, I'm actually going to bring the glue down a little. I could even do a little more, but let's just see how tall these pieces are. Yeah, see, that's probably what I'll use in the center again. So I'm even going to come in a little bit more with my glue. So it's a little tighter. I'll make that kind of centered. So not measuring. And then I'll use this medallion. Just beat that up a bit. And again, you want it kind of centered, and if you just flip it over, you know where to glue. Do my edges first. And then clean. Very little bit of glue. Works like a charm. And again, I'm just trying to align this up. So see that I'm just using this line right here. Excuse me. Oops, wasn't looking. There we go. So I shouldn't do this yet because it's not, see, that's a much better fit. Like it's not super loose. Okay, so that's the belly band. What other wonderful thing did we do? Okay. Oh, here. On the back of that, that's what I did. I did a little, I used to use one of the printables on regular paper, copy paper, and put that on the back as a journaling space. So let's do that. Excuse me. Let me take one of my test prints here. Doesn't matter. Yeah, see, she was very pixelated, so I had to fix that. Okay, so you want it to be double. It has to be as long as this. Well, it doesn't have to be, but that's what I'm going to do. This is why I love not measuring. You could use cardstock on this too if you wanted to, but I'm just going to eyeball this. My thing is I'm not great at cutting straight lines, so what I really should do, actually mark my spot here, is use my trimmer. This one. If you're like me and you're just not great about cutting a straight line, I rely on this a lot for that. And how are we for height? Let me just mark that right here. So I want to go just a little shorter than that. Just a little shorter. And then I will corner around just because, and ink. Okay, so see, I have, let me see if my eraser's handy. I always seem to have a hard time finding that eraser. Yes, who knows where it's escaped to. So I see I have some writing on there because those are my test prints. The eraser's gone missing. Okay, so if I flip this open, I'll just glue that side down. So that ends up being upside down, but that's okay. And then that's my journaling space. Like I said, you could use cardstock for this. But basically I want to glue this whole thing down. So I'm just gluing this side, back side. So I guess it doesn't matter that that pencil mark's there. You could make a little notebook here. This would be a nice little spot for a notebook. Oops. There we go. I just want to repeat what I did in case anybody was interested in how I did that bit there. Okay, so what does that look like? Flipped over, it's a little extra, so I could, too late, I should have checked before I glued it for trimming, but that's okay. What's done is done. Okay, and then, so I didn't do anything here, but you could by all means do a pocket right there. So let's flip this down. And then I have a pocket here on the flip up and a flip down and a belly band. Okay, so let's do the pocket first. That's quick and simple. Get this out of the way. Let's use some of this wider stuff now. This might be my favorite pattern in the whole kit kind of partial to blue lately. I'm not really sure why. I don't really have a favorite color, but lately, okay. I just saw that little white notch there, so I knew where to cut. And it's a little pointy, but it is a pocket, so that's okay. So again, hold where you don't hold the opening, and just glue the opposite sides, side, side, bottom. There's that pocket. Okay. And then the flip and the flip. So back to these wider ones here. I'll use these two gals. I'll try to zoom up a bit or hurry up a little bit because I don't want this. I always say that I don't want the videos to be too long for you, but so I'm going to leave the flip. Let me just double check. You're a flip down. Oh, not you. You're a flip up and a flip down. So I actually want one of those cards for the flip down. I was just thinking of what am I going to do on the top for a flip. And then we can make her a little more narrow if the sides aren't quite what we want. Tuck you away for a second. So let me see. Here it is. This piece here. This is what I use to flip down. So I want to leave the top this time, so I can use that to flip, make my fold, flip fold, whatever you want to call it. Trim the bottom, around some corners. Now, if you want to round the corners at the top, you can, but I would first make your fold. So that's the part I'm going to glue down. So like before, I would trim those in, but let's see what it looks like if we... Oh, that's hard to do. So that's coming a bit. I might still want to trim that a bit. Oh, that's hard to do. Yeah, I think I need a new. So when I turn that over, is it sticking out a little bit? So you could just trim these off because we don't care what it looks like on that side, right? There we go. So ink. So this is the top flip. So I want it pretty close to, as close to the top as I can get it, with leaving just a slight little margin so you can see the inking lines, or the inking edge, I should say. And just try to be straight, Kathy. There we go. And now I know where I can't go by the text because the text isn't straight on the page. I'm trying to line this up to the edge of that. And now she can go underneath. Now, if she's going to be wider and showing, do we care? Perhaps, perhaps not, but I am just going to trim her up a little bit. I'm going to try to hide her this time. Okay. And another fold. We're going to trim those off a bit. Add a little ink. Now let's see what that looks like before I... How far down did I go last time? It's going to be like that, so it doesn't really matter. So I guess you just want to make sure it's underneath this enough to be hiding, because that's the cool thing about it. I could trim my edges just a little bit more, just so that it's hidden. And again, you just ink this part. Okay, so let's get that. Is it covered? Yes, good. Okay. Just tidy up a bit. And then I had a belly band under that, did I? Yep. Oops. There we go. So I had a belly band right here. So let's use up some of what we have. That's a little short. I guess there isn't any more. So let's use this. There we go. Okay. So for a belly band, we want just the edges, and we want something to fit here. So in this case, it's pretty short length, so I am going to try to keep the glue just to the edges this time. Great for that. These bottles are great. That. Okay. Did I have a pocket there last time? No, I did not, but you know what? Let's just make one now this time. Okay. I think that's all of the pieces, and then the rest is just about decorating and adding your ephemera bits that you want to add. So let me just revisit my creases now that it's full of stuff. Journaling space. Oh, my pocket is really crooked. Can I save it? You can. That's really crooked. Why don't you tell me? A little louder next time, please. Let's try that again. It's just, I guess with the pattern, it's just a little difficult to see everything. Okay, there we go. And I feel like this is, oh, you know why that feels blank? Okay, I'm just going to borrow the pieces from this one so that I don't take up your time to cut all of those again. Let's see. Oh, and then on the back. Oh, did we do that part? Maybe not. On the back, I put a pocket as well, but you can do that. So, belly band there. You could put something in this pocket here to hold that kind of down. If you don't want two people side by side, you could use one of these. And same thing here, that would hold that down if you had, that's a little wide, something there to hold it down, this flap here, until you opened it up. Let's add somebody to the belly band here. She fits nicely. Good. Like that, like this. Add something here. We had a couple of cards in this belly band. Okay, so I did make that a little tighter. There we go. A couple cards there. I have this pocket. Need a narrow piece for that. She's on the front. I wouldn't normally do two of hers that close together, so get out. Get out. I'll put you in here instead. You look lovely. Okay. And this, I didn't put a pocket here, did I? So that was one other thing that this would be cute. Because then we can put something right on it. It's just a tad wide. So let's cut off these little taupey colored edges. And again, I would probably bend these to add some dimension, do a little inking like here. And it's just not quite so flat looking. You could do some corner rounding on your pockets. I'm just going to hold this like this. So I think in the last one I did the pocket here, but I'm actually going to do it down here this time. Oh, but you know what? If I stick something in there, it has to get past that fold. So I take that back. I'm going to put it here. As it was a shorter pocket and you had something small in there. But that's fine. There we go. And then of course I added a pocket here on the back. But that's up to you. And then added the lovely little words here. Where'd we get to? So these look like they're on washi tape. And I have some dates there. So these washi tapes are just kind of make raggedy edges. Just like that. Very simple. And this tape looks like it's just a little wonky, so just kind of move it back and forth a little bit. Just get this out of the way. So again, just make it rough looking. There you go. So it doesn't look, just so it looks a little aged. And then same thing here. You could use sharp cuts, but I just think it looks better if it's just a little bit smoother, which is so easy to do just by moving that back and forth like that. So my bottom's pretty straight. Let's just put a few little nicks in it. You could do that too. You could nick it with your scissors. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay, so this time I'm going to just put this on the bottom. Last time I thought that this looked a little bare, so what I did was I just made some corners, and the way I do that is I just where can I demonstrate that? Well, basically what I do is I just glue a corner thing like that, and then I take whatever strip I have. So I use the picture frame again, and I just put it like this, glue it down, and then I just trim this edge and that edge, and that's how you get these little like book corners they look like. And just kind of figure out where you want to put everything. Kind of like that one there. Yeah, these look really cute when you ink them up, like old tape. That. The dates I did a few things with. I did them straight, and then I also did some wonky lines. So again, just move that guy back and forth a bit so it's not, get rid of those straight lines is basically what I'm trying to say. Up to you. That just looks like it was just torn from a book or something. Make that a little heavy. Where do we want you? You can go right there, right here, wherever something looks a little bare. I like that right there. Opposite sides for balance. Like that. Very cute. But anyways, I think you have your own style of decorating, so I think we've given you a fair idea. This would be cute to have something there as well. Up here, you could use this as a tag topper. There, I would love to see, if you make one of these, tag me. I'll put it in your stories and just tag at Raven Vintage CA. The CA stands for Canada, by the way. And just tag me in your stories, and I'll be happy to share them on my stories. On Instagram, I'm talking about, if you're on Instagram. Yeah, I'd love to see what you come up with. Oh, I had a few stamps out too. I thought that would be kind of nice to do some stamping. Like there would be cute. I'll just see what it looks like. Yeah, like that. Thank you so much for joining me today and crafting along. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year. And I'm looking forward to crafting with you in 2025. See you then. Bye.